Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Sister Zainab, here's your machine, the Breville Barista Express BES870. Just finished refurbishing it today. The machine had absolutely no problems. A lot of the machines that I sell could have a small problem or an issue that I need to fix. This one had zero issues. So I just opened it up, double checked that there's no leaks or any other sneaky things. Did the cleaning cycles, pressure test, leak test, everything is fine. Now it's ready to go. I will make a quick espresso on it, not a full coffee. Usually I would make a latte, but I've already had my morning coffee, so I'm just gonna make an espresso that I'll freeze for later. So in case this was your first coffee machine, I'll teach you everything from the beginning. When you turn it on, usually it will take about a minute to turn on and warm up, so fully reach temperature. It's been on for a while now, so it's ready to go. When the buttons are on, here on the right, that means it's ready to make a coffee. You can warm up the machine after you turn it on. So you can make a coffee right away when you see the buttons light up, but it's also recommended you warm it up. So to warm it up and make sure your coffee comes out nice and hot, you want to do a blank shot. So get your cup, put it underneath. Here's the handle, it's empty now. There's no coffee in it. Just lock it in a little bit and press the double. This will give you hot water that will warm things up. So you'll warm up the handle, you'll warm up your cup very, very nicely. And it also acts like a cleaning flush. So if there's any coffee or grounds or coffee oils that are stuck in the shower screen or in the basket, this cycle will, or this step will clean that up. Just press the double. Should take maybe 10 seconds. There we go. Excellent. I'm going to put that on the side for now. You can keep the water in. You don't have to drain it out actually. There's a little yellow just from the coffee from before. And the cleaning cycle soap as well. Now that all gone, it's nice and clear. Put it on top here. This basket is one of the 4 that comes with your machine. So your machine comes with 4 types of baskets. This is the best one to use. It's the single wall double shot. You also have a double wall double shot. The double wall is made with 2 layers of metal, and it will make the coffee process a bit easier, but it won't taste as good. So with this basket, you have to get the grind amount correctly. And you have to get the correct grind size as well. And you have to use fresh beans. I've just opened a packet of Coles medium beans. I think Coles and Aldi are usually a good brand to start with if you're new to coffee. But if you're not using fresh coffee or you're not using the correct settings, the dual wall baskets, the double wall baskets will be easier to use. But I'm going to set up the machine for you with this one. So the proper basket. This will take 18 grams of coffee. So I'm going to use my scale here. 18 grams of coffee. You can grind the coffee in 2 steps or in 1 step. I like to do it in 2 steps, so I'll do the single twice. That way I will reduce the spillage of the coffee, so we don't waste anything. At the moment I'm using grind size number 5. The only way to know if you have the correct grind size is to make a coffee with that grind size. We haven't made a coffee yet with that grind size, but I had a look and I felt the coffee grounds, and it's close to the grind size that I usually use on my personal machine as well. So it should be close enough, hopefully. I will keep the grind amount on 12 o'clock in the middle position here, and then we'll see how much we get. Hopefully it should be 9 grams per single dose. This is 9.5, so I'll reduce it a little bit. I'm going to go to the 11 o'clock position. I'm just going to trim the excess. Once you have 9 grams in the basket, or let's say after your first dose, lightly press it with the tamper. This will make way for the next batch or the next shot. If you don't lightly tamper it, it will pile up at the end of your second dose and it will spill as you take it out. So this is like a nice little intermediate solution. Cool, that's the second one. And this is at the 11 o'clock position. Let's see. And we got exactly 9 grams, 8.9. That's perfect. So I'm going to keep it at the 11 o'clock position. This 11 o'clock position will be connected to the grind size number 5 and the beans that I'm using. If you change the beans or if you change the grind size, you might have to change this as well. So I'll set it up so that hopefully you go home and use the same settings and get the same results or similar results, let's say. But yeah, they will vary a little bit. So if you use much better coffee or much worse coffee, it'll be a bit different to grind. But yeah, this is 18 grams. Before you press it with the tamper, just spread the grounds with your finger or with your hand. So make sure they're approximately flat before you press, so that the pressure is even when you come to press. And then you'll notice that the coffee grounds will collapse and they will get compacted to the level of the silver part on the tamper. So a nice rule of thumb that I like to tell my customers is, if you want to check that you have the correct grind size, if you don't have a scale, if you want to check you have the correct amount of coffee in here and you don't have a scale or you're in a hurry to rush to work or whatever, just look at the depth of the tamper and this silver part should disappear. Just like that. This is exactly 18 grams. And it looks good. Make sure it's not nice and polished, and clean the edges if there's any coffee. You don't want to. You want to clean them before you lock it in. Lock it in just in the middle. You don't have to go all the way to the right. Just in the middle is fine. If you ever notice it sliding while making coffee, then that's when you need to push it a bit to the right. But I think it's not going to slip here in the middle position. One more thing, these buttons here are programmable. You can change them to whatever length you like. You can go from like 20 milliliters all the way to 200 milliliters of coffee, which is a lot. The correct shot of espresso is about 40 grams or 40 milliliters, which is what I'm going to do now. So you can reset the settings. You can hold program. It will reset everything to factory. But in my experience, the factory settings are always too long, and they will give you more coffee than you need. So I will reprogram this double button for you to give you the correct amount of coffee, which is about 40 grams for this coffee, for this settings, for this grind size and grind amount. Hopefully it's not too confusing. Again, I'm just going to set up the machine, and when you get home, just use whatever beans you like and try. And if you're happy with the results, keep it like as is. Reset the scale, and then to program it, you press the program button, then the button you want to program, which is the double. It'll start making coffee. And then I'm going to stop it when it's reached the volume that I want. I'm also going to time it. Now, I did say 40 grams is the expected or is the correct amount of espresso. That's basically a 2-to-1 ratio. You don't have to weigh this every time. You don't have to weigh the input or the output. I'm just doing it for your interest. But basically, for every gram you put in, you want 2 grams out. We put in 18, we want about 36. I would say just 40 just to make it easier. 40 grams out. And that should take 30 seconds, or let's say 25 seconds. If it takes a lot longer, so if it takes a whole minute to give me that 40 gram dose of espresso, then that's too long. If I get the 40 grams of espresso in only 10 seconds, then that's too quick. So it should be about 25 to 30. Let's see. I've got my timer as well. Your gauge should be in the gray zone. And it's right about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Looks really good. The flow is nice and symmetrical, nice and smooth. A lot of crema because the bag of beans is fresh. I'm going to stop it in a couple seconds. That's 24 seconds. Pretty good result. I'm very happy with it. It's a lot of crema. And I think this is about 42 grams. That's fine. So this is a bit quicker than usual, but that's totally fine. This is a drinkable shot, I would say. If you want to slow it down, you grind finer. So if the coffee comes out way too quick, which in this case, it's not way too quick, it's a bit quicker than normal, but that's fine. If it's way too quick and you're getting low pressure, that could be because your beans are old, or it could be because your grind size is too large. Now grind size number 5 seems to be good or close enough. We can try this again at grind size number 4, which is a bit finer. So grind size number 4 will slow it down. It will increase the pressure a little bit because, you know, I think finer coffee will be more difficult to go through for the water. And on the other hand, if you are getting too much pressure, if you're getting a very, very slow flow and you're getting only dripping from the handle and not a smooth stream like you saw, if it's very slow and dripping out of the handle, that means your coffee is too fine. So you need to increase the grind size. So just in summary, if you want to speed up your coffee, increase the grind size. If you want to slow down your coffee, reduce the grind size. But I think keep it at 5 and see how you go. And if you like to turn this drink into a long black, just pour it into a bigger cup and use the hot water tap. Got a hot water tap here, very nice. Gives you clean water right from the boiler. If you keep it on, it'll give you 200 mils of water, which is standard for long black. Of course, you can turn it off at any time. And if you want to turn this into a latte, just steam some milk. So I'm going to turn on the steamer just to confirm to you that it works all good. I did test this before. Usually it takes 15 seconds for it to start steaming. Once you hear the pump pulsating, that's about full pressure. So now I can hear it pulsating. Then turn it off, get your milk jug, position it, turn it back on. And then you have to learn the technique. It's a bit of a learning curve, but that's fine. You just have to keep the milk spinning in the jug, basically. And that's so you can get smooth texture. With regards to the texture of the milk, if you keep the tip here, close to the surface of the milk, so just like this, for example, then you'll get more froth. If you dunk the tip or immerse it a bit deeper into the milk when you're steaming, that will give you less foam. So that's how you can control the level of foam on this machine or any manual machine, really. Don't forget to clean the machine after you're done. Take out the portafilter, just knock it into the bin or your knock box if you have one. I don't have any for sale, unfortunately. I would offer it otherwise. And then after you knock it off, nice and clean, just give it a rinse to make sure everything's flushed. This will clean your group head here, and it'll clean your showers. It'll clean your portafilter if you keep it underneath, of course. Perfect. Once or twice, should be fine. If you're not making another coffee, you can store the portafilter like this. You don't have to lock it in. If you lock it in all the way, it may put a lot of pressure on that rubber seal. So I would avoid that. That's all, I think. It's the Barista Express. Hope you enjoy. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate. I'm sure you'll enjoy this machine. Ramadan Kareem, and I'll see you very soon.